Well, here we are in our house and we're doing some work on the roof. We had a hole from a leak a while back, and so we got the roof patched and did some mudding and some sanding, and now I'm getting ready to do some texturing. I did some texturing. As you can see, I have stuff all over my face and got the cloth hung up on the wall so we don't make a mess out of things. Got a cloth down here on the floor so we don't make a mess out of things. We got our ladder over here so we can get up. These are all the things that we do to get ready for a job. And as I was doing this, I thought about two things. Number one, I thought about the fact that today I left after church and I didn't do my Hot Fudge Sunday because I had to go over to my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's house for Memorial Day. And we headed over there. And on the way over there, our car overheated a little bit, so we had to get that taken care of. So you just lose your train of thought. And so I was doing some work in here, and I said, I haven't done my Hot Fudge Sunday. So I said, it's time. It's time that I did it. Because I didn't do it last week because I was out of town last week. So just a whole bunch of stuff. But very short and sweet this week, so I can get back to working on that ceiling. We took a look this week at step number 6, and step number 6 is I will strive to understand more than I will be understood by listening with a servant's heart, and I will offer forgiveness, or I seek forgiveness from the people I have harmed, and I will make amends for the harm that I have done. And we were talking about several things, but one of the things that I want to share today was kind of a revelation this week as I was looking at it. Of course, the journey to be is something that I've been working on for years, and something that I've really been gelling together for a book over the last year. And this week, as I was getting ready for this message, and this is, oh gosh, it's probably about the 6th or 7th time I've preached through the islands of the journey to be. And this one gave me a new perspective. It's just an example of how God works in strange ways, and how there's always something new in everything. We've gone through something before, and we think we got it all figured out, just to later realize that there's more to it than that. And one of the things I realized this week as I was studying for step number 6 is that there's this sense of brokenness that is a part of healing. There's this sense of needing to immerse ourselves in the world, or another person's world, so to speak, to really achieve healing on our own. That we will never be whole until that time that we come to the place where we can honestly say that we seek to understand more than to be understood. And God gave us the greatest example of this, and that is basically in the trajectory of history and the story of Jesus. For death came into the world through sin. And lest you blame Adam and Eve, if they didn't do it, somebody else would have done it. The sin brought death into the world. In order for death to be conquered, the price had to be paid. Now think about this for a second. God in heaven is able to do whatever he wants to do. So he could have sat there and he could have said, okay, debt is paid, salvation is yours. And it would have been done. He said, let there be light, and there was light. But he didn't do that. He came down and he dwelled among us. He lived with us as Jesus for 33 years, and then he died on the cross for us. He came in and he lived that island number 6. And to strive to understand as opposed to be understood. God didn't need to do all of that in order to save us. We needed God to do that in order to be saved. And that is the greatest demonstration of island number 6, that in order for healing and wholeness to come, God came to be one of us so that we could understand. Because again, the fact is that nobody cares how much you know until they know how much you care. And God demonstrated this for us. And so that's the example that we follow. We follow his example. And so in our lives, if we truly want to find healing and wholeness, if we want to try that perfection that comes through completeness of life, then one of the only ways that we can do it, one of the things that we have to do is we have to strive to understand as opposed to being understood through listening with a servant's heart. For that's what God did with us, and that's what we're called to do with everybody else. So if you're looking for healing this week, maybe that's a good place to start. seeking to understand as opposed to being understood. We're very good in this culture of shouting at the mountaintops and letting our voice be heard and claiming our rights and saying, look at me and listen to me, and we won't take your case until we get money, unless we get money for you, and those kind of things. But what the upside down way of God is teaching us is that in order to be complete, in order to find wholeness, in order to find the healing that we're looking for, we must seek to understand as opposed to be understood. And that's island number 6. Well, next week we're going to take a look at island number 7. And we invite you to come back and tune in again for another Hot Fudge Sunday. Until then, may this week have a great you. I'll see you later.